And speaking of double standard, there was, as James mentioned in the news, top of the hour news, there was a bombing in Sri Lanka, and a death toll rises to 290 in this brand new type of terrorism. And mark my word, there'll be a little talk about it, but because it's Muslims attacking Christians, killing them, no big deal. You're not going to hear a lot about it. Had it been the other way around, God forbid, that's all we would be talking about. That's all we would be talking about. But when it happens to Christians or Muslim, when it happens to Muslim, it doesn't happen. But if it should happen, remember that it happened in New Zealand, where some white guy allegedly shot some Muslim or something. They made that a big deal. Even the mayor or whatever prime minister of New Zealand, whatever you call them over there, she put on Muslim clothes. We should do the same for Christians. Will this be a big deal for the Christian? There were 8 explosions, including a suicide bombing. And these people destroyed 3 churches and 3 hotels throughout the country of Sri Lanka. This happened on Easter Sunday. How about if this had happened on Allahu Akbar Day? You know how, don't those Muslims like go somewhere? They have like a big gathering of Muslim on their day that they call themselves celebrating. No big deal, folks, when it happened to the Christians or to white people, and especially to white men. No big deal. So, as I said, the terrorist attackers killed at least 290 people and injured another 500, with the death toll expected to rise. So far, they have arrested 7 suspects in connection with the attack, and it's being speculated that a radical Islamic group have done this. They did this. This is from Fox. The main city that was affected was the capital city of Colombo.
The first round of bombings this morning targeted 3 churches and 3 luxury hotels across the island, according to police. Another 2 bombings occurred later in the day. Authorities say the majority of the 8 bombings happened in the capital city of Colombo, and reports do indicate that 35 foreign nationals were killed, including American citizens. Police have arrested 7 people believed to be connected to the attacks. Footage shows one suspect being loaded into a police car as an angry crowd throws punches at him. The 3 hotels that were hit are all popular for tourists visiting the island, and many likely came to celebrate the Easter holiday with friends and family. Video footage from the site of one church shows blood strewn across the pews and bodies covered with sheets. Many churches in Sri Lanka have now canceled their Easter services out of fear that another bombing could occur. Following the tragedy, President Trump tweeted his condolences, saying the United States stands ready to help.
Amazing. And by the way, Christians are minority group in Sri Lanka, making up less than 10% of the population. 10%, less than 10%. And I have to tell you, Christianity or Christians are the most hated group on this side of heaven, because Christianity is the greatest and the best religion on this side of heaven. There's none greater. And they're hated for it. This is why I've been saying here on this show, I don't trust the Muslim. They have not apologized or They have not apologized or said in a big way that Christians and Jews are not infidels. They are not worthy of death. And you cannot lie to them and deceive them to destroy them. I haven't heard in a big way. And likewise, I don't see a majority or big crowds of Muslims coming out and denouncing Islam attack on Christians during Easter holidays. Watch how quiet these people are about this. Sri Lanka police had been warned a week earlier of suicide bomb threats that was being made to Christian churches.
Although just over 7% of Sri Lanka's population is Christian, the history of Christianity in Sri Lanka dates back to the 1st century. Just 10 days ago, Sri Lanka's police chief warned that suicide bombers wanted to hit churches across the country. His statement was reportedly based on intelligence provided by another country, saying that NTJ, a group described by the Economic Times as a radical Muslim group, was planning the attacks. So far today, no group has taken responsibility. Now, Pete, Jedediah, Ed, reports do indicate in Sri Lanka that a curfew has been imposed and social media has been banned in an effort for authorities there to avoid further casualties.
So they got early warning about this, according to the report. They didn't really look into it. Oh, no big deal, just Christians. It's just churches. How about if they had gotten warnings earlier that Christians were going to do this to Muslim churches, so-called churches? You think the people would have looked into it or just shrug it off as nothing? It's time that Christians start speaking up, protesting, getting involved. Christ never came so that Christians can become nice and weak. Christians are supposed to be strong, outspoken, good example, stand up for what is right. And we need that in America today. You got to start being strong. Christ is not some weak little girly boy that allowed evil to run over him. He did not do that. And he made it so that you don't have to act that way either. But you have allowed Christianity to be watered down, hated. Christians, so-called Christians, are busier judging one another than they are the Muslims or other religions. They allow Christianity to be judged, to be overtaken by the children of the lie. So they got warnings that this was going to happen, but they did not look into it. The Daily Mail, this is from the Daily Mail, footage appears to show a bomb going off at a church in Sri Lanka. Amazing. No big deal, right? It's Christians. Christians are nice. You see the bomb going off? Look like a church? Amazing. It's coming to America, folks. Because you're being nice and just letting everybody in. No wall around the borders. Voted for the Democrats who clearly do not want to take care of our country, put America first. And if a white person or anyone should put the country first, all of a sudden, they are racist. Voted in Muslims in your own government. Remember that woman, Omar, speaking to the Muslim group? What's the name of that Muslim group? CARE? And she said something like, let's get busy or something. Raise hell. A Muslim woman from Somalia refugees camp invited to our country to live. Crazy Americans voted her in. Blind Americans voted in a Muslim in our government. She's speaking to care who hate Christians, in my opinion. She acts as though it's the Muslims who are being attacked. So she said, let's get busy. And now you have this attack on Christian churches over in Sri Lanka. Is it because that woman, Omar, said, let's get busy? And will we see more of this? Or let's raise hell, whatever she said. Let's raise hell. And that's why they raised hell in Sri Lanka against the Christians? Because of her call for raising hell? And will we see more of this? Will we see this in America? If a Christian woman in government had said, call for raising hell, and something like this happened, who do you think they're going to blame? They would blame. I'm surprised they're not blaming what happened in Sri Lanka against the president, the Great White Hope. But wait, it still might come. They'll put the blame on him. By the way, Hillary Clinton and the fallen Messiah, cricket line Hillary and the fallen Messiah Barack Obama responded to what happened over there in Sri Lanka. And they didn't mention the name Christians at all. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama reacted to the bombing by way of Twitter, but they both forgot to mention that it was Christians who were being attacked. Quote unquote. Here's what Hillary said. On this weekend, for many faiths, we must stand united against hatred and violence. I'm praying for everyone affected by today's horrific attacks on Easter worshippers and travelers in Sri Lanka. It was not Easter worshippers, it was Christians on Easter. Do you think had it been the other way around, she would have said that, or would she said upon Muslims? Horrific attack on Muslims. But instead, she called it Easter worshippers. Remember when Obama, the father Messiah, was in the White House? He never mentioned when attacks left what's happening to Christians. No big deal, right? But when it happened to Muslims, that's a no-no. Obama tweeted, the attack on terrorists and Easter worshippers, attack on tourists and Easter worshippers in Sri Lanka, or an attack on humanity on a day devoted to love, redemption, and renewal. We pray for the victims and stand with the people of Sri Lanka. No mention of Christians, none, by either one of those evildoers. If that's not a wake-up call for you, I don't know what is. The Great White Hope also tweeted about the bombing on Sunday. He made a typo error where he wrote about 138 million people had died. He corrected the tweet and said 138 people have been killed in Sri Lanka, with more than 600 badly injured in a terrorist attack on a church and hotel. The United States offers heartfelt condolences to the great people of Sri Lanka. We stand ready to help. The fallen Messiah and Lion Cricket Hillary, no mention of the Christians. I've been told that the body count rose to at least 290 now. Amazing, folks. It is a spiritual battle, a warfare between good and evil, right versus wrong. And there are people in this country of all races who are against America within. And there are those who are outside of the country as well. And I'm urging you to stick with the Great White Hope. We got to put a wall up around the borders, stop the illegal aliens from coming in. We got to stop bringing in refugees, so-called refugees in our country. And we got to clean up America, make America great again. And under this president, it's possible. Under a Democrat or a rhino Republican or a never Trumper, it's impossible. You decide. It's up to you. It really is up to you, folks. It has nothing to do with color, nothing to do with male or female. It's either the God that you serve, the God of good or the God of evil. It's up to you. It really is. We have a chance in America to protect ourselves and not rely on the government. They're not going to do it. The Democrats are about power and wealth. And so I'm thinking about this Muslim terrorist attack in Sri Lanka. That's a bad deal, man.
Yeah. That is a huge coordinated attack. And supposedly they don't have, according to CNN, they don't really have those groups over there.
What do you mean they don't have them?
They don't really have the terror groups, Muslim radical terror groups over there.
Well, how did they get over there to do what they did?
And I think they do have them. It's just that you haven't really heard about it.
The problem is the Muslims are so protected by the media and the politicians and everybody, and we don't really know exactly what's going on.
10% of that country is Muslims. And only 7% are Christians.
Oh, I read the other way around here. It said that, let's see, I thought it was Christians are a minority group.
Yep.
And in Sri Lanka, making up less than 10%.
Yeah,
but what did you just say?
It's like 7.4%.
What did you just say?
I said 10% are Muslim.
And then, and what else did you say?
And about 7% are Christian. Most of them are Buddhists, and then Hindus, and then Muslims, and then Christians.
My great concern is that in America, like over there and anywhere else, you're not allowed to speak up about the Muslims. And so that gives them more room to whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And I see these Muslim churches, whatever you want to call them,
Mosques.
going up all over L.A.,
Yeah.
Cover City. They have some of the biggest churches. Where do they get all that money from to make the churches?
Mosques.
What?
Mosques.
They must be. There must be something. Is that money coming from Saudi Arabia?
Maybe. Qatar, Saudi Arabia.
Good tar. Oil money.
Yeah.
But that money got to be coming from somewhere because these people don't build small little churches. They like to take up the whole block.
Yeah, that's true. They go big.
And they're so big, they even have parking lots right on the church ground. You don't have to worry about parking.
Yep.
Christians can't even build parking lots. It's so unfortunate that Christians have allowed, and I know it's because of the men being weak,
Yeah.
but have allowed Christianity to become so weak, so girly, so socialized, while all these other evil so-called religions, like Islam and other, are rising above and taking over.
And the liberals the liberals won't even acknowledge that they were Christians that were killed, because then that's kind of gives a nod to the dominant religion in this country. And they don't want to make their base eyes roll, because Obama and Hillary are supposedly Christians, but they won't even acknowledge.
If Obama and Hillary are Christians, my cat is a Christian.
Wow.
If I have one. I have no pets. Amazing. But I'm very concerned about this, and I'm concerned about my country, how we're being set up too. All these illegals coming in and just all kinds of things are just happening. And everybody's sitting back, and the Christians are going, Christians are not supposed to be in politics.
Some of the Christians are helping them come in.
Well, they deserve what they get then. They really deserve what they get. It's your own darn fault. Super chats.
Okay. Nicholas Bowling. Omar told Muslims to raise hell, and now this happens. Also,
Yeah.
Jesse, did you get a chance to read my article about your speech? Oh, yeah. This man wrote an article. He has a little news site that wrote up your speech up in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, I didn't read it yet. What do you say about
I'll
it?
send it over to you. He talked about what you talked about and all that. Shared your the YouTube video that you put out from it.
Two things that I don't understand about Christians today, and and especially when they say they believe in God. Number one, how can you believe in God and not speak up? And number two, how can you believe in God and hate your fellow man? It just doesn't go together. Speak up or don't hate. God is love, and there's real strength in love. Perfect love, not the emotional mama love, but real love.
A lot of the Christians.
Where did that go wrong?
A lot of the Christians are speaking up against the people who speak up and accusing them of hate.
I know, it's mind-blowing. Even Christians are doing it.
Right.
Christians are turning on each other while the enemies out there are turning on all Christians. It's the darndest thing I've ever seen. It's just mind-blowing. Anyway, thank you.
Lucifer Morningstar. Which more violence?
Lucifer Morning?
Lucifer Morning.
What does that mean, Lucifer Morningstar?
This is the person's name.
Amazing.
Username.
Watch out with the Lucifer name.
Lucifer with an S. But anyways.
What's the difference?
Usually it's spelled with a C. I've never seen it spelled with an S.
Yeah, S just means more than one. Okay.
Which more violence, the Bible or the Quran?
The Quran.
Immortal Conservative says peace, wisdom, prosperity. Immortal Conservative.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
And then Hard Sound Guy says, compare what HRC tweeted, Hillary Rodham Clinton, after a Christchurch attack in New Zealand to what she said after the Sri Lanka attack. That's a good point. They definitely acknowledge the Muslims.
Yeah, they do. I don't care what nobody say. When it happened to the Muslim, whatever you want to call them, Muslims in the black community, don't we call them Muslims?
Yep.
And then the white people call them Muslims
Or Muslims.
or something. It's a different in the reaction when America is a Christian nation. God gave us America. Anyway.
Mitchell Ross, the people of the lie are calling this an attack on Easter worshipers, not an attack on Christians.
I know.
And they call it a holy day for many faiths, or something like that.
And it wasn't no holy day for the Muslims, that's for sure.
Yep.
What's an Easter worshiper? I never heard of that.
I know, it's kind of
Easter
like accusing
worshiper.
us of being pagans, worshiping Easter.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Giovanni A., good morning.
That's a good point, Darrell.
Yeah.
What is an Easter worshiper?
And what are they on?
We weren't
nowadays?
worshiping Easter. We were worshiping God. You're right, Daniel. They're denouncing God. That's what they're doing. In America.
Yep.
God, forgive them. They know not what they do. I'm telling you.
In order to be inclusive, they think they have to exclude Christians.
Right.
Giovanni A., good morning, fams. It's funny how both Obama and Hitler claim to be Christians, but now they can't even try to say Christian. SMH. Shaking my head.
Say SMH, my head too. Si, senor. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, share, Sonny, ring the bell, and all that good stuff. Do we have a bell to ring?
Yeah.